You could be wondering precisely how Bitcoin works. Whether you've been hodling since the early days of Bitcoin, or just heard your strange uncle advise you to invest in cryptocurrencies. In spite of the fact that this relatively novel kind of digital currency has been the subject of a number of news stories over the last 10 years, its core concept and primary function are really much more straightforward than you may first think. Hello everyone, welcome to Finance Wisdom. In this video, we're going to talk about what is Bitcoin and how does it work in 2022. If you are new to this channel, do like and subscribe to the channel. Let's look at the fundamentals. Bitcoin is a blockchain-based software protocol. The value of the digital token is determined by other people's willingness to pay for it, or just by the laws of supply and demand. Bitcoin was initially valued at roughly 0.008 cents. But as more people adapted the concept and purchased the token, the price has now risen to nearly $50,000. This may sound confusing, but it basically means that the Bitcoin network isn't run from some guy's basement on the other side of the world. Rather, it's run on thousands of computers across the world simultaneously, without one centralized controller. Bitcoin is a digital currency based on a decentralized system that records each transaction on a ledger, also known as a blockchain. The digital tokens are really generated by Bitcoin miners, who use powerful computer rigs to solve challenging math problems. Despite the fact that many individuals merely purchase Bitcoin via Coinbase or other applications. They confirm transactions on the decentralized blockchain in order to keep the buying and selling process moving along smoothly. When Bitcoin miners successfully confirm a block of transactions, they are immediately awarded a token amount of the cryptocurrency as payment for their efforts. The process of mining Bitcoins lies at the core of how Bitcoin operates. Blockchain miners are given digital currency in return for the computing resources that they provide to the network. On January 3, 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto successfully mined the first block, which is commonly referred to as the Genesis block. This achievement was worth 50 Bitcoins to Nakamoto. As a direct consequence of this event, Bitcoins came into existence. Let's find out more about blockchain technology. Bitcoin is not a blockchain, and the blockchain is not Bitcoin. The blockchain itself is basically a software protocol that may be utilized in many less interesting applications than they would seem to the average listener, such as banking and other software applications and manufacturing software compliance. Satoshi Nakamoto, the person behind Bitcoin, initially spoke about a blockchain in 2008. Once, these two terms were always used together. However, blockchain has grown into a much bigger software and technology phenomenon. Blockchains are simple to understand in their fundamental form. It's a digital chain of blocks, each of which represents a collection of data, and the chain itself is digital. You may think of them as being comparable to folders. The blocks cannot be rearranged because they are organized in chronological order. It is comparable to a chronological listing of digital occurrences that is reliably kept up to date by thousands of computers located all over the world and is independently verified. If you and your friend use blockchain technology, you might decide to send your friend $50. This decision would always be recorded on the network, so the money would be sent when it was due. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The foundation of Bitcoin is a safe software protocol. Bitcoin tokens are moved from one person to another, safely recorded by blocks of information that are all decentralized and anonymously managed by mining machines across the globe thanks to blockchains, which are distributed ledgers. The full Bitcoin blockchain is accessible to everyone. It can be ensured that no modifications are made over time, by making such a large quantity of information public, because other individuals will see the changes being made or notice that their blockchain is different from the one the other person is supplying. Bitcoin transactions are not regulated by a central body, but rather by a community of miners. Users of Bitcoin will often have wallet addresses, which are strings of characters that can be found on the blockchain and are used to transmit and receive digital cash. On the blockchain, this address acts as a distinctive identification. Every time Bitcoin is delivered or received to or from this address, a record is made in the chain that allows for endless backtracking. However, what gives Bitcoin any value at all? Well, nothing is more expensive than what consumers are willing to spend. Additionally, there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins in circulation. A limited supply results from this. Bitcoin can only be created via mining or as a compensation for miners confirming transactions. In a procedure known as halving, the amount of Bitcoin a miner receives for processing a block gradually reduces over time. The mining reward is reduced by 50% for every 210,000 blocks mined. The goal is to finish mining all of the Bitcoins by the year 2140. Following that, fees will be paid to miners according to a structure to keep processing transactions on the blockchain. Additionally, this implies that if the benefits diminish over time, mining may become less lucrative. That, however, is only true if the cost remains the same. Mining may become more profitable if the rate at which it grows is higher than the rate at which the rewards fall, which is something that can and does happen. Due to the fact that there is a limited quantity of Bitcoin, there is an issue with supply and demand. As was said before, there is a limited supply of Bitcoins. Hence, the price would need to go up if more people were interested in buying them. Because of this, the value of Bitcoin has skyrocketed in a very short amount of time. If the lowest owner of Bitcoin refused to sell it for less than $50,000, the lowest price at which it could be acquired, then Bitcoin's worth would be equal to $50,000. This is because $50,000 is the lowest price at which Bitcoin can be purchased, even if the concept of supply and demand has been oversimplified. The only thing that determines how much money can be made of Bitcoin is how much people are willing to pay for it. Simply by itself, it is not worth anything at all. All of this serves as a very basic introduction to Bitcoins and blockchains, despite the fact that we haven't really delved into the various threats to the Bitcoin network, such as the so-called 51% attack, or even the cryptography and security that goes into making the blockchain and blockchain wallets completely secure. However, despite the fact that we haven't really delved into these topics, all of this serves as an introduction to Bitcoins and blockchains. On the other hand, this information can sometimes be too much for a casual or first-time buyer or owner of Bitcoin, so they need to do their own research. One thing is clear, however, fortunes have been made and lost in cryptocurrency, but it is likely here to stay. No one knows what will happen to Bitcoin or its price in the future. But one thing is certain, fortunes have been made and lost on the cryptocurrency. We've reached the end of another video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you like this video, do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Thank you and goodbye.